Hey guys, this is Benny Ricciardi with rotocurve.com, and I'm here with our DraftKings NFL defense picks for Week 16. There are 4 teams that we're going to be looking at, a couple up at the high end and a couple more at the low end that we think are going to be quality options for us to choose this week. So let's call up the slideshow and take a look at who we do like and why. The 4 teams we're going to be looking at are the Pittsburgh Steelers at 3,100. The Seattle Seahawks at 4,200, Kansas City Chiefs at 4,200, and the Houston Texans at 2,800. The Steelers are favored by 10 going up against a Baltimore team that has been giving up huge fantasy numbers recently to every team they played. Whether it's Matt Schaub, Jimmy Clausen, or Ryan Mallett, who's going to be the quarterback for them, all of them are pick-six prone, and all of them have a good chance to, give up a couple big plays to the Steelers defense. Javoris Allen was actually benched last game, so this Baltimore offense is falling apart. They got problems from the top to the bottom. They should be trailing, and they should be forced to throw in this game, which I think is going to play right into the Steelers' hands. The next game I want to talk about, the Seattle Seahawks, favored at home by 13 against the St. Louis Rams. Seattle is very tough at home, so it's definitely not a place that I would want to take any offense that's going up against them. Their offense has been on fire lately, so they should get them a lead, which would allow them to just pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. The Rams are a team that wants to run the ball, but Seattle has been very tough against the run this year, so they're not going to find much room on the ground. Seattle is going to force them into passing down situations, and that's usually how they rack up the fantasy points. They have a very good pass rush and a pretty ball-hawking secondary, which has allowed them to average 10.4 fantasy points per game so far this season. The next team we want to talk about is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're favored by 12 at home versus the Cleveland Browns team. It's been one of the hottest defenses in the league right now, this Kansas City team. They have 52 fantasy points in the last 3 games. That breaks down to an average of about 17 fantasy points per contest. Cleveland allows the second most fantasy points to opposing defenses so far this year. And I know that wasn't all with Manziel under center, but then again, he is somebody who's prone to get sacked and did have a problem with fumbling and holding the ball like it was a loaf of bread earlier in the year. This Kansas City defense has a very blitz-heavy scheme, with corners on the outside are going to be put in one-on-one situations, and they've been up to the task so far this year. That blitz-heavy scheme tends to yield a lot of sacks and forces quarterbacks to make quick decisions, which can lead to interceptions as well, as we've seen in some of their recent games. The last team I want to talk about is the Houston Texans at 2,800. It's a low total game with only 42 points expected. Marcus Mariota is going to be out for this game, and Zach Mettenberger looks like he's going to be in there to start. The first time these two teams played, Mettenberger was also at quarterback, and the Texans defense scored 20 fantasy points. They had 7 sacks, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries. I think they held the Tennessee team to 6 points on 217 total yards. So I do think that this is a really solid spot for the Texans. Mettenberger's a guy who this season has thrown a pick on 1 out of every 15 passes. And he's throwing about 30 passes per game as a starter. So if they're losing in this one and he has to throw the ball 30 to 45 times, you're likely to see 2 or 3 picks in this game. And that would be really good for a Texans defense that's only costing you 2,800. Sure, they are a little bit more risky, but I think they're my favorite play in the tournament because you can get them for a full $1,400 or 33% cheaper than you can teams like the Seattle Seahawks or the Kansas City Chiefs in the same situation today. So that sums it up for the 4 defenses that we're looking at for Week 16 here. Thank you for joining us at rotocurve.com, and as always, stay classy, DFS.